What does it take to be remembered in the high-speed world of Formula One? For Johann Mass, a German driver who raced through the 70s and 80s, the answer is a mix of grit, glory, and gut-wrenching tragedy. His name might not echo like Schumacher's, but his story is packed with twists that'll keep you glued. From a sailor's life to a Le Mans champion, Mass's journey is anything but ordinary. And with whispers still swirling about his biggest controversies, there's more to uncover than you might think. Mass didn't grow up dreaming of race cars. Born in 1946 in a small German town, he lost his father young and moved with his mom to a new city. By his teens, he was at sea, working in the merchant navy, far from the racetracks of Europe. But a chance connection changed everything. A girlfriend who worked as a marshal at a hill climb sparked his curiosity, and soon he was hooked. Mass ditched the sailor life, landing an apprenticeship at Alfa Romeo's racing team in Mannheim. That move wasn't just a job, it was his ticket to the fast lane. But how does a guy with no racing roots climb to Formula One? By 1971, Mass was tearing up the German Circuit Championship, clinching the title in a Ford Capri. He wasn't just fast, he was relentless, balancing touring cars with Formula V, where he nabbed second in the European Cup. His knack for precision caught eyes, and it wasn't long before he was gunning for bigger stages. The racetracks of Germany were just the start, and Mass was already proving he could hang with the best. But the real test was coming. In 1972, Mass jumped to Formula 2, a proving ground for future F1 stars. Driving a Surtees, he battled his way to runner-up in the 1973 European Championship, snagging wins in Sweden and Germany. His speed and guts impressed team boss John Surtees, a former world champion who saw something special. That breakout season earned Mass a shot at Formula One in 1974. But the big leagues weren't as welcoming as he'd hoped. What was waiting for him would test more than just his driving. The 1974 season with Surtees was a rough ride. Mass teamed up with Carlos Pace, but the car wasn't competitive and tensions flared. Halfway through, Pace bailed for Brabham, and Mass's relationship with Surtees soured fast. Frustrated, he jumped to McLaren for the last two races, showing flashes of brilliance, like a stunning 7th-place finish from 20th in the US Grand Prix. McLaren's boss, Teddy Meyer, took notice and Mass was in. But racing alongside legends like Emerson Fittipaldi and James Hunt, that was a whole new challenge. April 27, 1975, changed everything. At the Spanish Grand Prix on Barcelona's Montjuic circuit, Mass pulled off his only F1 win. Sounds like a dream, right? Not quite. The track was a death trap, with loose barriers and sketchy safety. Half the field crashed or retired, and then disaster struck. Rolf Stomlin's car lost its rear wing, spinning into the crowd and claiming a spectator's life. Mass crossed the finish line first, but the victory felt hollow. Whispers still linger online. Some say the race should have been stopped, others call it a stain on Mass's career. What's the truth? That's for you to decide, but the story doesn't end there. Fast forward to 1982, and Mass was at the center of a tragedy that still haunts racing fans. During practice at the Belgian Grand Prix in Zolder, he was on a cool-down lap when Gilles Villeneuve, a Ferrari star chasing a fast time, tried to overtake. What happened next was chaos. Villeneuve misjudged Mass's line, clipped his car, and went airborne. The Ferrari disintegrated, and Villeneuve was thrown into the fences. He didn't survive. Fans were devastated, and some pointed fingers at Mass, claiming he blocked the track. Reports, though, call it a tragic misunderstanding. Even today, posts on X show fans debating who's to blame. One thing's clear, that day left a mark on Mass's legacy. But was it fair? Mass wasn't done with racing. In 1989, he teamed up with Sauber Mercedes and won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, proving he could still dominate. He even tackled the brutal Dakar rally in a Porsche 959, though a crash cut that adventure short. Into his 50s, he was still racing, hitting the Nürburgring in 1999 with an Audi TT. The man lived for speed, no matter the odds. And yet, some say his name never got the respect it deserved. Why? Living quietly in France with his wife and 4 kids, Mas stayed out of the spotlight. But in February 2025, a stroke hit hard. On May 4, at 78, he passed away in Cannes. Since then, chatter on X has exploded, with fans revisiting his career. Some call him a forgotten hero, others say the Villeneuve crash overshadowed his talent. Posts speculate he never got his due next to giants like Schumacher. Whatever the case, Mas's story isn't just about wins, it's about fighting through the chaos. Johann Mas raced through triumphs and tragedies, from a sailor's deck to the world's toughest tracks. His 1975 win was tainted by disaster, his name tied to a heartbreaking crash in 1982. Yet he kept going, winning Le Mans and never backing down. As fans dig into his legacy today, one question lingers: does a driver's worth come from trophies, or from the battles they survive? Peter McParland, the Northern Irish star, might just be all three. Born in 1934 in Newry, County Down, McParland's journey began on muddy pitches, far from the spotlight. At 16, he dazzled at Dundalk, netting 8 goals in 23 matches. A failed trial at Leeds could have ended his dream, but Aston Villa's George Martin saw something special, signing him for just £3,880. That move changed football history. McParland's name lit up the 1957 FA Cup final, but not just for his 2 goals against Manchester United. With the game on a knife's edge, he charged at goalkeeper Ray Wood, slamming into him with a shoulder that left Wood unconscious, jaw fractured. Legal by the rules, but fans still call it dirty. That moment sparked debates that rage even today. Was it a fair play, or a cheap shot? Villa won 2-1, and McParland's brace cemented his place in history. But there was more to come. By 1961, McParland was rewriting the record books again. Aston Villa faced Rotherham United in the League Cup final, trailing 2-0 after the first leg. In the return, Villa roared back, and McParland sealed the comeback with a stunning extra-time goal. He became the first player ever to score in both the FA Cup and League Cup finals, a feat that still echoes in football lore. And what happened next would take him global. In 1958, McParland stepped onto the World Cup stage in Sweden, carrying Northern Ireland's hopes. He delivered in spades, scoring 5 goals in 4 matches. Against Argentina, he struck once. Against West Germany, the reigning champions, he bagged 2, earning a draw. Czechoslovakia felt his wrath too, with another brace. Finishing as the tournament's 4th highest scorer, he proved he could shine against the best. But his story didn't end on the pitch. After retiring in 1968, McParland turned to coaching, first at Glentoran, then across the globe. Rumors swirl that his time in Hong Kong, coaching the national team, sparked a football revolution there. Some fans claim he laid the groundwork for the game's growth in Asia, though details remain scarce. Others say his methods were ahead of their time. What's the truth behind these stories? It's hard to pin down, but they keep his name alive. Today, McParland's legacy is a battleground. On platforms like X, fans argue over that 1957 tackle, heroic or reckless. Some call him a trailblazer, others a villain. His goals, headers, and historic firsts are undeniable, yet the whispers of controversy linger. Reports claim younger fans are rediscovering his World Cup heroics, sparking fresh debates about his place among Northern Ireland's greats. So, was Peter McParland a flawed genius or a misunderstood hero? His story, packed with triumphs, scandals, and unanswered questions, leaves us wondering. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did his brilliance outweigh the drama, or is that tackle his true legacy? Petros Maliviatis, a name tied to Greece's modern history, did just that. Born in Chios in 1928, he studied law in Athens before diving into a diplomatic career that took him to the UN, NATO, and embassies in Moscow, Ankara, and Pretoria. Navigating the Cold War's tensions, he built a reputation for sharp, steady leadership. By 1974, Maliviatis became the right-hand man to Prime Minister Konstantinos Karamanlis, guiding Greece through its rocky transition to democracy. For 6 years, he shaped foreign policy behind the scenes, and later led Karamanlis' presidential office during 2 terms. His loyalty and skill earned him respect across political lines. But that wasn't the whole story. In 1996, Maliviatis stepped into parliament with New Democracy, tackling defense and foreign affairs. His calm expertise stood out in a divided political scene. Then, in 2004, he became foreign minister under Kostas Karamanlis, co-signing a bold 2005 proposal to resolve the Macedonia name dispute. Rumors swirled about his cautious approach to Turkey. Some called it wisdom, others hesitation. What's the truth? Shockingly, at 87, he returned as foreign minister in 2012 and 2015 caretaker governments. Reports claim his experience steadied Greece during election chaos, but why call on a near-nonagenarian? His final chapter closed in May 2025, when he passed at 96. Leaders like Mitsotakis hailed him as a worthy Greek, and his work with the Karamanlis Foundation cemented his legacy. Maliviatis' life blended loyalty, pragmatism, and quiet power. Could his approach still guide Greece today? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep this story alive. Raphael Rullin, who passed away just days ago in May 2025, wasn't just a Real Madrid legend, he was a game-changer who defied expectations. Let's dive into the story of a man whose sharp shooting and grit made him unforgettable. At just 17, Rullin stepped onto the court for Real Madrid in the 1969 Copa del Rey final. It was a crushing 81-82 loss to Joventut de Badalona, and he was stuck in the shadow of star center Clifford Lewick. But Rullin didn't stay sidelined for long. By his first full season, he helped Real Madrid snag both the league and cup titles, proving he could hold his own. And that was just the start. What made Rullin stand out? At 207 centimeters, but only 95 kilograms, he wasn't your typical bruising center. Instead, he had a silky shooting touch that let him dominate from outside the paint, a rare skill for big men in the 1970s. His coach, Pedro Ferrandiz, saw his potential and turned him into a weapon opponents couldn't handle. But bigger challenges were coming. In 1973-74, Rullin and Real Madrid faced their fiercest rivals, Pallacanestro Varese, in the European Cup final. It was a nail-biter, but they clinched an 84-82 victory, with Rullin's shooting making the difference. After 2 heartbreaking final losses to Varese in 75 and 76, he got his revenge in 1977-78, leading Madrid to a 75-67 win. Those battles defined an era. But there was more to come. Fast forward to 1980, and Rullin was at his peak. In the European Cup final in Berlin, he dropped 27 points against Maccabi Tel Aviv, powering Real Madrid to an 89-85 triumph. Fans still talk about that night as one of his finest. But things wouldn't stay that easy. By 1981, foot injuries and the arrival of Fernando Motin pushed Rolland to the bench. Lesser players might have jumped ship, but he stayed loyal, even helping Madrid win the 1983-84 European Cup Winners' Cup. His grit kept him in the game. And that loyalty paid off in ways few saw coming. After retiring in 1987 with CB Collado Villalba, Rolland didn't leave basketball behind. He served as Real Madrid's technical delegate and worked with their foundation, shaping the club's future. With 24 national and 8 international titles, plus 162 caps for Spain, his resume speaks for itself. But there's more to the story. When Rolland passed away, at 73 in May 2025, fans flooded the internet with tributes. Some whispered about health struggles in his final years, though nothing's confirmed. Reports claim he stayed active with Real Madrid's foundation until the end, a testament to his love for the game. His death has sparked fresh talk about his impact. Some even argue he's the most underrated champion in Spanish basketball history. Rolland's story is one of triumphs, rivalries, and quiet loyalty. 8 international titles, 24 national ones, and a shooting style ahead of its time, yet how many truly know his name? As we remember him, what does it say about the legends we overlook? Let us know what you think below.